Today, we're going to be recapping the Washington Commanders versus the Dallas Cowboys. Game yesterday, the final score, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Washington Commanders 25-10. That shit was hard to watch, man. I'm not even going to lie. The Commanders fall to 1-3 on the season. The coach staff's awful, man, and we're going to get to all this here in a minute. But I just love this team way too much, man. Like, I just can't stop rooting for them. I mean, I love this team, but they just don't seem to love me back. They put me through pain every single week. I try to hype myself up. I try to have hope, and they just always let me down. And it's just an ongoing theme. Ron Rivera is awful. Scott Turner is awful. Jack Del Rio's. This whole coaching staff needs to get fired soon, and I'm about to get to the players pretty soon. I don't even know where to start with this team. It's just awful. We're one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. But I'm gonna start off with the coaching staff, and then I'll get to the players. Who should I start off with? Oh, Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera is way too old school for the new era of football. He never can ever make adjustments. He shows no emotion. Every time, we lose a game, you just see him standing there just with his arms crossed. Like, it makes no sense. The dude shows no emotion at all. Ron Rivera is a great culture guy. A lot of people respect him around the NFL, but he's just not a good coach. I don't know how else to say it. He's just too old. He doesn't understand the new era of football. He's way too old school. He's always trying to bring in, like, these Panthers guys that he used to play with. It makes no sense. I just don't understand it. We're basically the Washington Commanders, and he just brings in all these, guys from the Panthers, and it doesn't do anything, and it makes no sense. But he makes no adjustments at all. It's just sad, man. Ron Rivera, he's just a coach that I just feel like always wins like 6 or 7 games. Like, he's just a mid coach that can just never get you over the top. But the only reason, let's be honest, the only reason Ron Rivera hasn't been fired is because Dan Snyder literally needs Ron Rivera. He needs a guy that can, cover up some of his issues, because Ron Rivera, he's a well-respected guy. He's a great guy. I like Ron Rivera as a human being. I don't like him as a coach. But Dan Snyder kind of needs Ron Rivera, to clear up some of the stuff, because, Ron Rivera, ever since he's got here, he's, tried to make the culture better, and he has. I'll give Ron Rivera credit for that. He's made the culture better, and he's made this football team a little bit better. I mean, we did go from 3 wins to, like, 7, but it's just not where we want to be. I'm sorry, but I just can't keep dealing with these 7-win seasons. It's not going to cut it. Like, we're not even good at, like, being bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're never bad enough to get, like, a top 3 pick, but we're never good enough to make the playoffs. Like, we're always in that, like, 7-win range, like 7-9, 7-10. We always end up getting that, like, 11th, 12th pick, where, you can't get one of the top quarterbacks available. You just kind of end up with, like, a mid pick, but you end up not getting the pick that you want because you're always in the wrong position. It's just like we can never be bad enough. I mean, obviously in 2019 we were 3-13. And we ended up getting Chase Young, which was, I still think it's the right pick, because obviously we saw what he could do in his rookie year, and he was hurt last year. He didn't have the best year. This coaching staff, like, I don't know what else to say about Ron Rivera. The dude, I think even before the season, he's like, the fans are going to have something to cheer for this year. No, we don't. We don't have anything to cheer for, man. And the dude just continues to show no emotion. He shows up to his press conference, eating lunch and stuff like that. Like, it's just like he just has no emotion to the game. He just doesn't bring any fire into these guys. But Scott Turner is absolutely terrible. There was this time I was literally screaming at my TV because I think this is early in the game. We were running the football really good, right? I want to say it was like 1st and 10, and we're at like the Cowboys 40-yard line. And what's it called? Yeah, we're at like the Cowboys 40-yard line, right? And it's 1st and 10. Jonathan Williams, I believe, just got a 20-yard run. Gibson was eaten on that drive. And then the first play on 1st and 10, we drop back and play action, and then Carson Wentz gets pressured, and then he ends up trying to do too much, and then he tries to throw the ball away, but it gets called for an intentional grounding, so then it ends up being 2nd and 20, and then that pretty much just killed our drive. The penalties were awful yesterday. The offensive line killed us. I mean, there were so many times where, like, we got a first down, and then it got called back because of holding, and we just couldn't stay in front of the chains, and you can't win football games that way. The offensive line is absolutely atrocious. There's even a picture, I think, like Sam Cosmi and someone else. There's like a picture of them blocking each other, their own team. It's ridiculous. There's also this one video, I don't know, I forget who it is, but he absolutely just let, like, someone on the Cowboys D-line right through the hole, and he ended up, I don't know if he sacked Carson Wentz, but he at least got a lot of pressure on him. And, Carson Wentz was bad yesterday, but this offensive line is not helping him at all. I mean, we got one of the worst offensive lines in the league right now because Ron Rivera keeps continuing to bring in these Panthers guys, and Trey Turner, who's one of our offensive linemen. I think he brought him from the Panthers. He gets rid of like these good veteran guys like Brandon Sheriff, who was a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. He gets rid of him, and he brings in these like dudes that used to play with him on the Panthers. Like, it makes no sense. And our linebacking core is awful because, again, Ron Rivera made no moves at the linebacker position. He's like, oh, yeah, we're set with Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis. And then after that, we have pretty much people who should be working at McDonald's. Like, who do we have after that? Like David Mayo, John Bostic. It's ridiculous. Let me get to the corners. Don't even get me started on Kendall Fuller and William Jackson. William Jackson is the worst. Hear me out. William Jackson is the worst corner in the NFL, in the National Football League. And we're paying this dude what, like $15 million? It's ridiculous, man. This dude was getting burnt like a toaster by CeeDee Lamb. It was unbelievable. Kendall Fuller was getting burnt. I mean, it just seems like every time William Jackson, like, he gets burnt and then he just, like, holds on to someone. Like, he's always getting called for pass interference. Like, even when he's in a position to make a play, he just grabs the jersey and then it's a flag. It's unbelievable. So William Jackson's either just getting absolutely toasted for, like, a touchdown, or he's holding someone and ends up getting called for a flag. And we're paying this dude $15 million. It's unbelievable. And Kendall Fuller, he has been straight up awful. Cole Holcomb's been bad. I thought, he had a few nice tackles yesterday, but other than that, nothing really. We continue to put Jamin Davis on wide receivers. We put Jamin Davis on CeeDee Lamb one play, and he got absolutely cooked. But that's not his fault. Like, Jamin Davis has 3 sacks this year. He's been good as a pass rusher. I don't understand why we don't use him that way. I just don't get it, and that's coaching. That is coaching. That is on Jack Del Rio. And this is why this whole coaching staff needs to be fired after this year. And I'm pissed off. I'm letting out all my rants. It's unbelievable. And don't even get me started. At the end of the half, with like a minute and 4 seconds, we run the ball like 2 or 3 straight times to J.D. McKissick. Then we throw like a 7-yard pass to Logan Thomas. We had a bounds, I was fine with that play. But then on 3rd and 2, we run the ball, right? We get the first down, and then we continue to like run down the clock. And then finally, when there's like 15 seconds, we try to do something. We throw the ball up and it ends up getting picked by Trayvon Diggs, and then that ends the half. It makes no sense. I just don't get it, man. Scott Turner, again, being just conservative as he is. I don't get what we're doing. I have no clue. The whole coaching staff, I'm just about done with it. But I'm going to get into some stats real quick. I'm going to pull them up on my computer. Hold on, let me take these shades off, man. I'm not feeling it right now. Those are the Commanders shades that I got at the game against the Eagles. But let me pull up the Commanders game. Let's pull up some stats real quick. All right. Obviously, we lost 25-10, but Carson Wentz was 25 of 42 for 170 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and 2 interceptions. Carson Wentz was really bad. I think the one play that I was so frustrated with him, and I was screaming at the TV. I was like, Carson, what the hell are you doing? You have no IQ. And because he doesn't. So I think he made a good play, right? He broke off the sack, all right, and he had space. I think it was 1st and 10. And then Carson Wentz tried to make a play out of that. I'm like, just throw the ball away. Get rid of it. And then finally, when he was about to get pressured, he tried to throw the ball away, but it didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. And it ended up being intentional grounding. And that, to me, was just such a frustrating play because then that sets you back behind the chains and the drive is basically dead. We had so many drives like that where you just, to start the drive, you get like a 10-yard holding, a 10-yard penalty, for like holding or stuff like that, and then it just kills the drive. But Carson Wentz, he threw a bad pick over the middle. I believe that was when it was 22-10. I mean, that's just awful decisions by Carson Wentz. I didn't really care that much about the pick at the end of the half. I thought he just threw it up. I mean, there's like 10 seconds left, but we just weren't able to do anything. I mean, all we really could do was screen passes. I don't know. We might bench Carson. I don't think we're gonna bench Carson Wentz just yet. I don't really know what else they're gonna do. I mean, putting in Taylor Heineke is not gonna do anything. We need to stop with this Taylor Heineke stuff. If it's gonna be anyone out there, it's gotta be Sam Howell. But I don't know if it's time for that yet. I mean, look, we're 1-3. We're still early in the season. Like, the season's not over yet. As bad as we've been playing, it's still not over. Like, if we get to like 1-5, 1-6, then I think you start putting Sam Howell in. But I think you see how Carson Wentz does against, a little bit of easier opponents. I mean, the Titans, they have a pretty good defense, but obviously the defensive line's not as good as the Cowboys or the Eagles. So let's see if Carson Wentz has a better game, but he was absolutely terrible yesterday. He just can't get rid of the ball. I understand he doesn't have a lot of time, man. I mean, most of the time he has like 2 seconds or under, but it's just decision-making is just terrible. It's frustrating. The only really nice throw we had, I thought he had a nice throw to Jahan Dotson for that touchdown. Jahan Dotson's been balling out, by the way. He's been the only promising player. Terry McLaurin just continues to get seatbelted. I love you, Terry McLaurin. We paid you $72 million, and I still believe we did it for a reason. But you have been getting seatbelted, my man. I love you to death, Terry McLaurin, but you have been getting put on this. You have been getting strapped. Curtis Samuel, he had 4 catches for 38 yards. Curtis Samuel has been doing this thing, man. Before yesterday, he was getting like 7 catches a game. But Antonio Gibson, 13 carries for 49 yards. He averaged 3.8 yards a carry. I thought Antonio Gibson was solid. I think it was okay. I thought early in the game, he was definitely getting some good runs. Jonathan Williams was really good, our second-string running back. He had 5 carries for 48 yards, averaged 9.6 yards a carry. Again, I don't know why he didn't get more carries, and I don't know why we didn't run the ball more than we did. J.D. McKissic got 8 carries for 40 yards, averaged 5 yards a carry. He was getting stuffed, though. He had like one nice long run on that touchdown drive, but other than that, not really. Carson Wentz ran once for 5 yards. In the receiving game, Jahan Dotson had 3 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. Good day, another good day for Jahan Dotson. He's got 4 touchdowns as a rookie wide receiver, man. The kid, he's got potential, man. He's looked really good so far, and I've loved what I saw from Dotson. Curtis Samuel, 4 catches, 38 yards. Logan Thomas had 5 catches for 19 yards, but it was in like pretty much garbage time. Logan Thomas didn't do anything. John Bates, he's a really good blocker. I'll give him that. He's not very good in pass catching, but I like John Bates as a blocker. He opened up a nice open holes. J.D. McKissic had 3 catches for 16 yards. Terry was strapped by Trayvon Diggs, 2 catches for 15 yards. Now, I did think Terry was getting held a lot. I thought Trayvon Diggs got away with at least 2 or 3 pass interference or illegal contact penalties. And also, Carson Wentz was not, giving him the ball. There's plenty of times where he was open on that 4th and 15. It was 20-10. We went for it, and Terry had a touchdown, but Carson Wentz did not, make a good throw at all. Dynamic Brown, I forgot Dynamic Brown was on the team. The dude's just, he's a lost receiver in this offense. I think everyone just forgets he's on the football field. You might as well just not put anyone on him, and I still don't think we would notice. But defense, Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne were our only bright spots on the defense yesterday. Jonathan Allen had a sack. Shout out to Jonathan Allen. I thought he was good yesterday. But we only had 1 sack as a defensive line. I thought the D-line was pretty good, though, yesterday. We did stop the run pretty well. We held Zeke to 2.6 yards a carry. And Tony Pollard had 0.8 yards. So we stopped the run. But CeeDee Lamb cooked us. He had 6 catches for 97 yards and a TD. Noah Brown had a pretty good game. Michael Gallup had a TD on us. But the Cowboys defense definitely, carried them. But I thought we also held Micah Parsons in check. You just look at this game, and it's like we held a lot of their key players in check. But, the Cowboys were just a better football team at the end of the day, and we're a bad football team. You can't deny that. But that's about going to wrap it up for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm trying to keep some hope, man. Listen, we got the Titans and the Bears. I feel like, those are winnable games. And maybe we can get back to 3-3 and get back in the mix and get back to 500 and, see what happens. But thank you guys for watching. My next video, what is it, Monday? Probably, I'm gonna say probably Thursday or Friday, maybe Wednesday. I don't know. But thank you guys so much for watching. It's your boy in command, and I'm out. Peace.